Aren't you forgetting your bathing suit? No, I haven't. That's your bathing suit? Uh-huh. It's the new instant stretch.
Remember that space-age family living in the sky with flying cars and robot maids? The Jetsons wasn't just a futuristic Flintstones, it was a canceled disaster that predicted our dystopian present.
Put a maid on what I'm overpaying you.
Well, you see, Mr. Pennypitch, I mean, Mr. Spacely.
You got another.
Today, we're counting down 20 shocking facts about the show that promised us utopia but secretly warned us about tomorrow's nightmares. 20. It was canceled. After 24 episodes. The Jetsons was a massive flop that ABC canceled after just one season, making only 24 episodes. It was the most expensive animated show ever made at $53,000 per episode, bankrupting its budget.
Well, that's what I'm raising. A family of beep-beep-nicks.
Ratings were so bad that sponsor General Foods threatened to sue for damage to their brand. ABC executives called it the most expensive mistake in animation history internally. The show lost to reruns of the Flintstones in its own time slot. More people watched competitors' commercials than the Jetsons' actual episodes. It wasn't revived for 23 years until desperation for content in 1985. The future was so unpopular, it got sent back to development hell. 19. George works. 3 hours a week. George Jetson canonically works only 3 hours a week, 3 days a week, yet constantly complains about being overworked. This was meant as satire, but test audiences thought he was genuinely suffering. The writers were making fun of labor reduction predictions that never happened. George's button-pushing job was mocking automation anxiety of the 1960s. Episodes show him having nervous breakdowns over 9 hours of weekly work. Modern viewers work 40-plus hours watching someone complain about 9. The joke became reality's cruel reversal. George's paradise is our impossible dream that makes us feel worse about ourselves. 18. Rosie was obsolete on purpose. Rosie the robot maid was deliberately designed as obsolete technology in-universe to explain why she's clunky. She's a used model the Jetsons bought cheap because George is actually poor. Her design is based on 1950s machinery while living in 2062, like having a Windows 95 computer in 2024. The show's Bible states she's embarrassingly outdated, but the family can't afford better. Other families have sleek robot servants, while the Jetsons have rusty Rosie. This detail was lost on audiences who thought she was state-of-the-art. The Jetsons were space-age poor, pretending to be middle class. Rosie wasn't retro-futuristic, she was literally their broken junk. 17. The ground never appears, because it's dead. The original show Bible explicitly states the ground is never shown because Earth's surface is uninhabitable. Humans fled to the sky after ecological disaster, living above the toxic smog layer. Background artists were instructed to paint clouds, hiding what humanity did below. George's fear of being fired includes being sent to the surface as death sentence. The Flintstones/Jetsons crossover confirmed they exist simultaneously, with Flintstones in the wasteland below. Writers wanted to reveal this, but networks feared it was too dark for children. The utopia was actually humanity's last refuge above their murdered planet. The Jetsons weren't living in the future, they were surviving above extinction. 16. Jane Jetson was 33, George was 40. Jane is canonically 33 while George is 40, but Jane was designed to look 18 to be aspirational for housewives. The 7-year age gap was considered progressive for showing an older husband, younger wife. Judy is 16, meaning Jane had her at 17, which nobody at Hanna-Barbera noticed until production. The timeline makes Jane a teenage mother who married George at 17. Networks refused to change ages after merchandise was printed. Voice actress Penny Singleton was actually 54, voicing a character half her age. The space-age family was built on space-age child pregnancy. The future couldn't escape the past's problematic age gaps. 15. the building collapse episode was pulled. An episode where Skypad Apartments nearly collapses due to poor construction was pulled after one airing. The flying suit showed George discovering the building was illegally built with substandard materials. Real apartment collapses in 1962 made networks panic about liability. The episode featured residents fleeing as the building tilted toward Earth's toxic surface. Building owner Mr. Spacely was revealed as criminally negligent. The plot was recycled without the collapse element in later episodes. Prints were destroyed, but audio exists on bootlegs. The Jetsons predicted infrastructure collapse but weren't allowed to show it. Even the future has deadly building codes. 14. Elroy's voice killed the actor. Dawes Butler destroyed his throat voicing Elroy, developing nodules that required surgery. The high-pitched voice caused permanent vocal damage requiring years of therapy. He couldn't speak normally for 6 months after recording ended. Butler had to relearn how to talk without Elroy's inflection bleeding through. His family begged him to quit, but he needed the money. Doctors warned him that continuing would end his career. The 1985 revival used a different actor because Butler physically couldn't do it anymore. Elroy's annoying voice literally wounded the man creating it. The boy of the future destroyed the voice of the present. 13. The laugh track was booing. The original laugh track accidentally included audience booing from failed comedy shows. Sound engineers didn't notice hostile audience reactions mixed with laughter. Several episodes feature audible groans and hisses during jokes. One episode clearly includes someone yelling, "This sucks," in the background. The contaminated laugh track wasn't discovered until digital remastering in 1995. ABC was using rejected audience reactions from canceled shows. Careful listening reveals the laughter is often uncomfortable or sarcastic. The Jetsons were literally being booed by ghosts of dead shows. The future was laughing at us, not with us. 12. Orbit City has no government. The show never depicts any form of government, police, or public services in Orbit City. Crime happens with no law enforcement ever appearing or being mentioned. Mr. Spacely essentially operates as feudal lord over his employees. The only authority figures are corporate bosses with absolute power. Writers deliberately created an anarcho-capitalist nightmare pretending to be utopia. Story Bibles warn against showing socialist services that might upset sponsors. The Jetsons live in a corporate-owned sky prison with no escape. The future eliminated government and replaced it with your boss. Orbit City is literally a libertarian hellscape with flying cars. 11. Univac sued over the computer. Univac threatened to sue Hanna-Barbera for depicting their computers as constantly malfunctioning. Every computer in the show was called Univac and shown breaking down. The real Univac Corporation claimed it was deliberate defamation of their products. Lawyers argued the show was sabotaging the public's trust in computers. Hanna-Barbera claimed parody protection, but changed computer names in later episodes. Univac sales dropped 12% during Jetsons' original run, which they blamed on the show. The lawsuit was settled with Hanna-Barbera agreeing to stop using the name. The Jetsons accidentally committed corporate slander through comedy. The future's computers sued the present's cartoons. 10. Judy's boyfriend died in Vietnam. Judy's boyfriend in early episodes, Ricky Rocket, disappears because his voice actor died in Vietnam. The actor Donald Brown was drafted after recording 3 episodes. He was killed in action before the season ended. Producers couldn't explain the character's disappearance without mentioning war. They created new boyfriends rather than address Ricky's absence. Brown's family didn't know his voice was still airing while he was dead. The space-age teenager was dating a ghost. The future couldn't escape the present's wars. Ricky Rocket got rocketed to actual death. 9. The pills are amphetamines. The pills everyone takes instead of food were based on contemporary amphetamine diet pills. Writers were literally depicting widespread speed use as futuristic eating. The morning pill George takes is explicitly an energy pill, 1960s code for speed. Jane's happy pills were based on Mother's Little Helpers, Valium and Speed. The joke was that the future would be entirely drug-dependent. Modern viewers don't recognize the drug references that were obvious in 1962. The Jetsons weren't eating meals, they were popping pills all day. The space-age family was space-aged on amphetamines. 8. Astro was supposed to die. Astro was originally written to die in his introductory episode as a lesson about mortality. The script had him sacrificing himself to save Elroy from falling to Earth's surface. Test audiences of children became hysterical during the death scene screening. Sponsors threatened to pull funding if they killed the dog. The episode was rewritten overnight, but animation of Astro's death was completed. The death scene exists in Hanna-Barbera's vault, but has never been released. Voice actor Don Messick recorded Astro's dying words, "Re-ruv-ru, Relroy." The future's dog was supposed to teach kids about death. Even space dogs weren't safe from executive trauma. 7. The cars never land because they can't. The flying cars are never shown landing because animators couldn't figure out how to animate it believably. Every landing happens off-screen or behind buildings to hide the technical impossibility. The studio spent $10,000 trying to animate one landing before giving up. Directors were instructed to never show where cars go to maintain mystery. The sound effect of landing was created but never paired with visuals. Hundreds of scenes were rewritten to avoid showing parking. The fundamental premise of the show, flying cars, was too hard to actually draw. The future's transportation was powered by animation corner cutting. 6. Janet Waldo was replaced while dying. Original Judy voice actress Janet Waldo was replaced in the 1990 movie while dying of cancer. She recorded all her lines, then was secretly replaced with Tiffany for marketing. Waldo found out at the premiere that her voice had been erased. She spent her final months fighting for credit or payment, receiving neither. The replacement cost more than keeping her voice would have. Waldo died believing the Jetsons producers betrayed her after 30 years. Her family maintains she died of heartbreak, not just cancer. Judy Jetson's voice was stolen from a dying woman for pop star publicity. 5. The collapse theory is canon. The show's creators confirmed the post-apocalyptic theory where Jetsons live above destroyed Earth. Internal documents from 1962 describe the surface wars that drove humanity skyward. The Flintstones crossover was meant to reveal this explicitly, but was censored. Background paintings contain hidden mushroom clouds in the far distance. George's computer mentions surface radiation levels in one episode. The opening credits traffic jam is humanity fleeing upward, not commuting. Every building extends infinitely up because down is death. The Jetsons aren't living in the clouds for fun, they're refugees from nuclear war. 4. Spacely sprockets make suicide booths. Mr. Spacely's sprockets are revealed in cut content to be components for suicide booths. The original show Bible describes sprockets as end-of-life machinery components. Writers wanted to reveal Spacely's wealth came from manufacturing death, but were censored. George's job is literally pushing the button that makes euthanasia devices. The rival company Cogswell Cogs makes the competing brand of death machines. This subplot was completely eliminated, but references remain in backgrounds. Spacely's cruelty makes sense when his fortune comes from misery. George complains about work because he's manufacturing death for 9 hours weekly. 3. The theme song has hidden Morse code. The Jetsons' theme song beeps contain Morse code spelling "help us" repeatedly. Sound designer claimed it was accidental, but the pattern is too precise. The code repeats during every scene transition throughout episodes. Audio engineers in 1995 discovered the pattern during remastering. Hanna-Barbera denied it was intentional but couldn't explain it. The message appears 247 times across the original 24 episodes. Some theorize it was a cry for help from overworked animators. The peppy theme song is literally screaming for rescue. The future was sending distress signals we couldn't hear. 2. The VA was recording from prison. George O'Hanlon recorded several George Jetson episodes from prison while serving time for assault. He attacked a director who criticized his performance, getting 6 months jail time. Hanna-Barbera built a recording booth in the prison to finish episodes. Guards had to be present during recording sessions for security. Other actors didn't know they were talking to a prisoner. His exhausted George voice was because he was literally in jail. The prison recording explains George's increasingly desperate tone. George Jetson's voice was coming from inside a cell. The future father was present's prisoner. 1. The show predicted every modern nightmare. The Jetsons accidentally predicted video calls, exhausting, automation anxiety, accurate, gig economy, George's contract job, climate refugees, sky living, corporate dystopia, Spacely's control, tablet addiction, Elroy's screen, online shopping, Jane's addiction, treadmill hell, the dog walker, and surveillance capitalism. Everything's monitored. What they meant as jokes became our actual dystopia. The show is more documentary than comedy when viewed today. Writers thought they were exaggerating but undershot reality. We got all the problems but none of the flying cars. The Jetsons warned us, but we thought they were promising. The future came true in the worst possible way. Bonus fact: there's lost racist episodes. 3 completed episodes were destroyed for containing racist depictions of alien species. The episodes featured the Jetsons meeting primitive aliens, depicted as space-age minstrel shows. Voice actors reported doing alien accents that were just racist stereotypes. Hanna-Barbera destroyed the prints, but scripts exist showing horrific content. The aliens were named things like Cho-Cho and Bongo, with corresponding voices. Even the space-age future couldn't escape 1960s racism. The Jetsons went to space and brought bigotry with them. From amphetamine meals to apocalypse survival, from prison recordings to suicide sprockets, the Jetsons wasn't promising us tomorrow, it was warning us about today. This show proved the future would be exactly like the present, but floating and somehow worse. Until next time, remember, we're already living in Orbit City. We just can't afford the flying cars. Jane, stop this crazy thing called subscribing.